This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, let's get caller 9 on the line. Right now, racial consultant standing by. Profile This is coming up. We will play Profile This in minutes. And we have your headlines on the way 1 hour from now. First, quick check-in to Mike Hawk for some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right, according to a new report, this year's flu vaccine isn't working very well. So flu season might be worse than usual.
Well, isn't the thing with the flu vaccine, as I understand it, that they're estimating which strand of the flu they think is going to be the one that's most infectious? So basically, you hazard a guess.
It is a guess.
You give people the
Every
flu
year's
shot.
a guess.
So if it's a different strain, then the one they gave you essentially serves no purpose.
They guess wrong.
Yeah. And I guess they have no way of really narrowing it down until a bunch of people get sick. They go, oh, we should have given you that one. Did you get a flu shot? I never get a flu shot.
Yeah, I'm one of the guys that have never gotten a flu shot.
I don't get it.
I've done both.
You haven't? You
I've
haven't?
got it.
Has it made any difference as far as...
I'm not sure.
Because people say, with kids, there's, man, get a flu shot, you have kids. Well, that's great. And I want to say they got a flu shot last year, and both of them were sick anyway. And
The problem is I've had years where I've gotten the flu shot and not gotten the flu. I've also had years where I hadn't gotten the shot and hadn't gotten the flu.
Right, it's hard to know. And the thing, it's weird because it's not. Typically, I'm cynical because I'm like, it's a racket, but they do it for free. I mean, they'll hook you up with it, but I don't know. I've just never done it.
I'm with you. Everybody that I've ever talked to that has gotten it has said, I get sick.
I go to the doctor.
Well, yeah, they give you the flu that you didn't have.
Once a year to get a physical. Unless I'm really, really bad off, I typically don't go back.
Yeah,
that's just the way it rolls.
Yeah, but Thrill's right. Like flu shots, you can just grab them at the drugstore. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to just be like, hey, man, hook me up.
Taco Bell is testing 3 new...
There would be a lot less flu shots if people actually had to go to the doctor to get them.
Oh, hell yeah.
Taco Bell is testing 3 new burritos that come with French fries inside.
Taco Bell, do they have a deep... I guess they have a deep fryer.
Yeah, because...
What is their deep
fryer? Like a crunchy, whatever they've got.
Yeah.
Deep
things, right?
All right.
Dude, there's a story. I got it sitting on my desk, but there's a story that some band has something to do with this.
Really?
Because Taco Bells in Mexico serve French fries and like other American foods or something. So then this guy, some band in L.A., and he was just like, I like taco... what's the one in California? Another taco place, not Taco Bell, because they have French fries.
Okay.
So then they're thinking maybe this guy to talk Taco Bell into bringing back French fries.
Okay.
Taco.
No one's going to hate French fries.
Right.
The problem is that they're not bringing back French fries. They're putting French fries in the taco.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can order a burrito and a large fry. You're either ordering a burrito with fries or nothing at all.
Look, man, if McDonald's said we're just going to put our fries directly on a burger, I'm still getting a burger.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean? I
sure
take a bite of
enough,
French fries and take a bite of my burger. They're in my mouth at the same time, making friends.
Yeah, and they're like, eat here late. Those fries belong inside the burrito.
Yeah, when you're there at 2 in the morning, they're like, really, you're a foodie now.
Right, that's what these Taco
You're
Bells.
at Taco Bell. I mean, come on, man.
Hey, some flavors don't go together.
You telling me burritos and French fries?
No.
It's a potato,
Dude,
man.
it works. They used to have a burrito that had little chunks of potato in it.
I'm aware, and it was not good. It didn't do well.
Not for you.
Not for me, no. Because they don't belong there. There's enough starch in that thing already. I want some nice seasoned beef, not a burger and fries.
I love how specific you are with your Taco Bell order. You would think
Darn
we took
right.
his ass to Ruth Chris.
Well, then,
like, you're the guy I don't want to be with in the car. Like, Mike, just order your goddamn tacos. She's still waiting.
There is only one time that tacos and the taco culture and the burger culture have mixed, and that is with the quesadilla burger that I've had, which was fantastic. It was weird. It was edgy. It was a risk, but it worked.
Quesadilla burger.
Yeah, man. You ever had that?
No, but I mean,
it's fantastic.
if I dropped them both on my plate, I'm sure I'd eat them together, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
there's not some chef that worked 8 hours. Like, I have figured this out.
Now, I am going to try these French fry tacos.
All that.
Good man. Science.
Right. I mean, I at least have to try it before I say that it's not good.
Because you'll stop saying it's no good.
That's right.
You just put on 80 pounds and fart a lot.
I already fart a lot.
Get me another burrito.
Extra beef. A man in India was arrested for causing a public nuisance after he took his socks and shoes off on a public bus, and it started a huge fight for some reason.
Because it stunk.
I was going to say that.
It smelled.
How funky are your feet, though,
Bad.
to where you just take... It starts a fight, Miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It starts a fight.
But feet are a
Yes.
different thing, man. Like feet, I don't know. You can fart on a bus, people get mad at you. But look, we've been on planes, all of us. I fart on planes constantly. But there's the story of somebody took their socks and shoes off and threw them up on the armrest of the person in front of it. I'm like, it's something about feet. It's a different game, man.
It's a much different body part.
Well,
I mean, look, you either like feet or you hate feet.
But even if you love
And
feet,
there's no other body part really that kind of that other than the important parts. It kind of has that division. Like, I'm not a hand person. Like no one does that.
Okay,
So-
I agree with you, but at the same time, I'm going to turn to the guy and say, "Yo, your feet stink. You mind putting
why
those
don't
back
you
on?"
mind your own business?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Keep
guess.
eating a French fry
That
quesadilla.
means that the guy that took his shoes off is not only a jerk for taking his shoes off in a public area, but he's actually going to stand behind it and be willing to go to fisticuffs to defend his right to have free feet.
You also got to think about the fact that this dude took his shoes off. It might have been very quickly. And then they were just so angry, like, you knew what was in those shoes. I'm about to beat your ass for that.
Right.
And on a bus, too.
Right. Like, come on,
Yeah.
man. We're already on a bus. Don't make it weirder or worse.
Let me go into a public bathroom and take my shoes off because I'm sure the floor is going to be clean in here. 2 men in Milwaukee.
All the random hairs stuck to the bottom of
Yeah,
your
there's
feet,
just that
man.
wetness.
I think I just saw Ted shiver over
You ever
that.
done it at like a beach bar or something?
Dude, right.
And like before you realize it, you're barefoot by the urinal. Like, what am I doing?
Oh, and then you feel the little bit of spritz over the top of your feet.
Spritz. Don't try to make it sound cute. That's pea juice, man.
That's exactly what it is. It's
A
spray.
spritz is something
It's
you don't
Slovak,
mind.
man. 2 men in Milwaukee recently showed up for a court date, tried to park in the police chief's parking spot, and got caught with drugs.
God damn.
You say what kind of drugs?
It does not.
Ones that make you really stupid.
I
Why don't you
just-
just drive directly to prison and walk in
not
a cell?
the smartest group.
It is the police chief's parking spot. This isn't just a, oops, I accidentally landed in a handicap spot. This is obviously clearly marked. This is the police
Yeah,
chief's
but
spot.
give them a little slack. They were high.
Yeah, probably. They're going to a court date. They shouldn't have been high. They shouldn't be selling drugs, but they shouldn't be high.
I don't know, man.
I don't get criminals, man.
Well, I mean, like, look, you're going to go to court. You get nervous, man. Maybe a little nip. Just do a quick bong hit. You know what I mean? Calm your nerves. If you're not there for drunk driving or for drugs, then I
got to take the edge off.
I'm all
with
for it.
Mike. I hear you, but it seems like you should be able to make it to the court case and back.
Right.
It does seem like that.
Hey,
It
man,
seems
I'm
that
really
way.
nervous.
You are 100%. It does seem that way.
I'm
I
really-
just don't know if I could do it. And again, I'm not a lawyer or legal advice. I'm just saying what I would do.
I'm really nervous about driving over the pass during the wintertime. Let me just take a shot at tequila.
See, that's what I'm talking
Take the
about.
nerves off. There was a rainbow in Taiwan that lasted about 9 hours. It might be the longest continuous rainbow ever recorded.
I was there for the beaches. I was there for the beaches.
But you're in jail for
Checking out rainbows.
At some point, I'd start getting worried.
It just seems like a lot of rain.
A lot of sun for me.
Yeah.
9 hours.
Like, why is that bitch still there?
I've never seen 9 hours of sun in my life.
The
Why is it
newest
so humid? Like, I don't know. There's a 9-hour rainbow out there.
Look at that bird. It's not a bird. It's a praying mantis.
Yeah, rainbows are beautiful until about that third hour. And now it's offensive.
the newest perfectly fine
Gay
area.
agenda.
Perfectly fine area that women are asking plastic surgeons to fix is the fold of skin in front of your armpit where your arm and chest meet.
Oh, come on, people.
They're calling
Seriously.
it their arm vagina.
Oh, don't listen to frickin' what's her
Well,
name.
they just made it sexy.
Jennifer Lawrence made a joke about that.
And now it's become
really?
a thing.
Yeah, it was just a joke. She's just making a joke about wearing sleeveless dresses and how, like, I don't want my arm vagina to come out. And everyone went, oh, I have an arm vagina, too.
Oh, Lord.
You know what? It's late. Why don't you just mess with the arm vagina?
I'm not going to give that one, but I'll give you an old army. I'll give you the old army.
Knock yourself out.
All right, I'll just give you an army for the road and we'll go to bed.
Jump in the pit. Make a pit stop with my arm vagina.
Don't worry, I'll use a soft gel.
It's also a lubricant.
Yeah,
Damn.
I just sugared.
it's ready.
Glittered up. And finally, a woman was trying to smuggle a product across the Mexican border, but it wasn't what you think.
What's that?
I'll tell you all about it 1 hour from now.
Thank you, Mike Hawk. Headlines are on the way 1 hour from now. First, the game is
The Men's Room presents Profile
And
This.
Stephen Throwhill, could you
What?
please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. 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 And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Amber. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola. All right, Amber, you understand how this here game is played?
I do.
Fantastic, because I just explained it. And here is your story. Now, there's a guy, I believe, Mike, you covered the story last week, but there's a guy, he just did something that every single person on the face of this planet has fantasized about during slow, boring traffic. This 28-year-old guy, he's been struggling with a long commute, like so many of us, and he found one bottleneck especially frustrating because, quote, the straight line was always packed with cars while the lane that turns left has a lot of space. So last week, in the middle of the busy commute, he went out onto the street and spray painted a straight arrow in the left lane. Now, unfortunately for him, the entire thing was caught on security camera because, again, he did it during the height of traffic. So the road was repainted, and this guy was only given a $150 fine. But my question is, do you believe that this guy said, F it, I'm changing the traffic rules right now, is black, white, Asian, or Jew?
Oh, I am going to have to ask for your guys' opinion. I'm leaning toward Asian because I feel like they're the ones who are really going to care the most and take time out of their day to go and paint the road.
Hey, man, I like this guy's thinking. I mean, I know it's illegal. Granted, I might show up in court stoned or a little bit drunk, but I would not repaint the streets. But I would love to repaint the goddamn streets.
There's a spot in front of my house. I'd love to go out and mark it so that there's 3 spots instead of people just put 2 cars in there. Like, it's 3 spots, dude. I'd love to go out there and paint it, but I can't.
I don't know. That is different because he physically went out there and repainted the road.
And get in the middle of the commute. But the point he was making was he had time to do it because that left turn lane, there's never any traffic. So traffic is whizzing by him, but no one's going to be in that lane because, as he's pointing out, no one ever makes the left turn that it indicates. So he's like, F you, I'll spray paint some arrows on there.
Okay, what are you thinking? Hello.
I am thinking Asian.
Final answer?
I'm with you.
For dinner or for this? Okay.
Final answer for sure.
Final answer for sure.
All right, we're going to find out if he was black, white, Asian, or Jewish next.
That was a tease.
You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Welcome back to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, to profile this, we've got a guy who is having no fun on his commute. So what does he do? He goes out and he changes the lines in the road. He paints his own lines in the middle of rush hour.
Yeah.
To make his commute a little bit easier.
And Amber, we asked you, did you believe that this enterprising individual who's tired of the long commute is black, white, Asian, or Jew? You started with Asian, you stuck with Asian, you kept saying, I don't know what it is. I just feel Asian. Well, from our point of view, that makes you a racist. But you're also correct.
China! Congratulations, you win nothing! All right, now for all the TV news all the time, it is time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box,
Armageddon.
the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Now, obviously, everybody has their own favorite teams they watch or whatever, but there's some players you'll see that you still kind of like them. So to me, Rob Gronkowski was kind of one of those guys. People kind of like Gronk, right? He likes to go out and party. His family's kind of whatever. I think over the last couple years, maybe his bro shtick has gotten a little tired. But for the most part, like, Gronk still seems like a likable dude. Yesterday, Gronk recently did something that nobody wanted to see, which was a very cheap shot penalty against another player, right? It was such a bad cheap shot penalty that at the end of the game, when Belichick's going to coach or shake the other coach's hands, the other coach kind of says, hey, I know Gronk was worked up or whatever, and you can hear Belichick's reaction to it.
No, I understand. I'm sorry. Yeah,
so basically, the other coach is saying, hey, Gronk was just angry, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And Belichick just looks at him and goes, no, it was BS. He shouldn't have done it.
Yeah. And then Gronk kind of apologized. Like, he's like, yeah, sorry, man, shouldn't have done that. And that's what everyone says in that position. I think there was some sincere. Look, it's football. Things happen. I don't hold it against him. But the cheap shot was so remarkably cheap. But just his whole thing was like, it'd be like, hey, Miles, man, I'm really sorry, or whatever it was. He went by the number. So, Miles, I'll give you 0. Hey, sorry, man, I'm sorry to 0, for dropping the forearm. But, man, they weren't calling anything, the officials. And then he goes on this big tirade about how he's treated unfair. It's like, dude, you play for the Patriots. One thing you're not treated as unfair. Relax.
Yes.
The play in particular he's talking about, right? Like, to his credit, I do agree with Gronk. It seemed odd you'd call a penalty on him. But that cheap shot he throws at the end is so egregious that, like, I mean, he got suspended. He got suspended for a game. By the way, if you want to see the hit and the coach's reaction, you go to the Men's Room Facebook page. Because I know some people I was talking about today, people hadn't seen it. I think even from Mike. But I'm like, once you watch what Gronk did, it's a different story.
Well, my thing is just this. If you're mad at the official, talk to the official. The player's going to play. The player played, and he did what every player does. Yeah, he pushed it off. Guess what they do on every single play I have ever seen in the NFL in a passing play if they're man-to-man? They push it off. Sometimes they call it. Sometimes they don't. They're grabbing on. We know how it goes, man. Sometimes you get the call. Sometimes you don't. It's no big deal.
It's
no big deal. But the thing is, you weren't mad at the player by your own estimate. And God knows people can just say anything these days. But by your own estimation, you're mad at the official. Then go talk to the official.
You can get thrown out of a game. Somebody comes across the middle, you take their head off. And then when you take their head off, you knock them out. They're laying there. It's, oh, God. It's a clean hit, supposedly. But now you make helmet-to-helmet contact. And the league will give you some leniency. They'll flagel. You get a foul. All that stuff. You won't be suspended for the next game. And I think the reason that Gronk was suspended is because
the
number
play
one,
was done.
The play was done. Number two, he has got with his surgically repaired elbow. He is basically wearing a weapon on his arm. It is a hard cast that goes all the way around. It allows his elbow to bend, but it's this big. It's not even padded as far as pads go. It's a hard shell pad. Okay, so think of basically he's got a weapon on his arm. And with any sport, we know that, look, man, if you hit somebody and you concuss them, if you knock them out and you hit them in the front of the head, that is not good, and it's definitely not good for the long-time livelihood of them as an individual. All right? But on the flip side, if you hit someone in the back of the head, the chances of them having some serious damage are tenfold. So there's a reason that rabbit punches aren't allowed. Sure. There's a reason why if you get hit in the back, there's a reason why some jackass outside of a bar, he punches someone in the face. Now, he might knock them out cold, right? But when they fall in the concrete and they hit the back of their head, it might just kill them. Not the blow from knocking them out, but the blow from the back of their head being in contact with something. Gronk hit him in the back of the head. And the one thing that you can't do in any sport is hit someone in the back of the head. But you can knock him out in the front.
But you think that's why they suspect this running the cast?
I'm just saying, as far as
the play's been dead for 10 goddamn seconds.
The play's dead. You throw an elbow to the back of somebody's head, you're getting suspended.
Right, and you throw it to such a degree that you knock the guy out. Yeah. So, to me, it's this is not even a question.
Well, the funny thing is they showed some other players what they did and have not been suspended. And I can't remember. I want to say it was Jacksonville, and it wasn't from this season. Oh, God.
Jacksonville, Mike's team.
Jacksonville and someone else. And so anyway, Deion Sanders was talking about this, should he be suspended? And he said, look, I think he should be suspended, but you can't suspend him based on, and he showed some clips of other people doing things and he gets suspended. And this dude, it's a cornerback and receiver, and I can't remember the other team, but the player from the other team clearly has been fed up with the cornerback from Jacksonville. So the play is over. He walks up behind the guy, gets him in a chokehold, all right? So
you're talking about A.J. Green.
Yeah, AJ. Yep.
Yeah.
Slings him over, and then, beats this guy's ass. And even when all of the Jacksonville players, because instead of attacking A.J. Green, the Jacksonville players kind of form a shield around the Jacksonville player, you still see A.J. Green. And keep in mind, there's 8 Jacksonville players. He is still throwing his fist. Mm-hmm. They're laying sideways on the ground. So Deion just goes, and this thing goes on and on and on and on and on. The video ends, and Deion goes, look, if you didn't suspend this guy for that, he's like, you cannot possibly suspend Gronk for that.
Last fight you want to get into as a team, the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't care if they're perfect or they haven't won a game all year. Do not get into a fight with the Cincinnati Bengals.
I don't know what they do at training camp, but I feel like, remember that movie Scared Straight, right? The documentary they do with the kids?
Yeah, when they send them to jail.
Yeah, take these little, all the kids because they're tough, they're thug, blah, 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 blah. And then you take them to an actual prison. They talk to actual roommates. They're like, bitch, I will eat you. And these kids, a lot of times, are scared straight. I feel like the Bengals, their training camp is held on Rikers Island. I don't know what it is with that team, but they should just go
That's also the famous story with back in the 80s when you had Notre Dame in Miami.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That Miami, while they recruited a lot of kids from the inner city in Miami and stuff, not all of them were from those neighborhoods, but all of them talked that trash that way.
Yep.
So when they get in that infamous fight at Notre Dame, the problem was the Notre Dame guys got worked into such a fury and I'm a Miami fan, but basically the story goes is that basically the Notre Dame guys kind of beat the crap out of these guys because they were so used to talking, they weren't really ready for the fight.
Sure.
And then, you play the game, and it's like, well, these Notre Dame boys are fired
Notre
up.
Dame, they haven't seen
some corn-fed.
Yeah, they
hasn't seen a good-looking woman
in 5 years of going to, school.
Told her and me. God damn it.
Human man.
Tired of you. Down there with all the bikini wearing. God damn.
That's what pissed him off.
I actually have to have a GPA, bitch. I actually have to go to class at the
No
school.
woman is clamoring to go to Notre Dame. I got to get there. I got to go.
Yeah, it's a very specific school. All right, let's stick with football a little bit. Sometimes when you're calling a game, especially when you're a color commentator, you got to talk a lot. So sometimes you'll just pick up a phrase that maybe you heard from a coach or whatever. So here's Chris Collinsworth explaining a phrase he heard from a coach. Al Michaels sounds like he might be into it, he might not. I think I understand what he's saying here. Let's see if you guys get it.
And I love a saying that Chris Richard has, the defensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks. You have to take the land from the man. Take the land from the man in front of you. If you're going across the line of scrimmage, we win. If you're going backwards away from the line of scrimmage, they win. Tonight, Seattle took the land from the man.
That may be an original. I've never heard that before.
I've never heard it either.
Most of the stuff we heard is stolen from somebody, but that could be all Richard. We'll give it to him.
I mean, it seems pretty simple, right? He's just talking about moving the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
If you can get into the backfield, you've taken that guy's land. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, you're doing well.
The only thing we know in North America about taking people's land is from Native Americans.
Right.
So unfortunately, the only analogy that comes up is, oh, yeah, we're going to take your land. Take the land from the man.
But I mean, I think in a lot of sports, when you watch
Redskins
it, right,
play especially hard.
If you watch boxing, right, that's going to be the same thing, right? You want to cut off the ring. You want to get there.
Right,
you
cut off the ring.
Right,
all this
you want to
stuff.
be advancing, or if you're watching MMA. So I don't know. A lot of people were giving Collinsworth.
Sports, if you're moving forward, chances are you're beating your opponent. Unless the rules to what you're doing are entirely. If you're moving your opponent backwards in whatever sport, that's typically means something fortunate is happening for you.
Basically, play the game on your toes, not on your goddamn heels. It's that easy.
Well, a lot of people were kind of giving Collinsworth a hard time about it. I was like, that one seems like it makes pretty much sense to me.
Oh, don't make everything
nitpicky.
He's got to make the.
Chris Collinsworth hates Native Americans.
Well, that's well done.
No.
I think it's more he just loves Seattle. A lot of people get on about that. House of Cards. Kind of ironic name of that show now, with all the stuff going on with Kevin Spacey. Obviously, we've heard earlier the production on the sixth season. Basically, they ended it at the end of October, following all the accusations against Kevin Spacey. But after the holidays, they're going to resume. The Hollywood Reporter notes that basically they might be a shorter season, and then it sounds like they might just kill off his character, Frank.
Whatever. I mean,
yeah. I like the guy, by the way, that was kind of explaining what happened. He's just saying, like, look, we're happy that we reached some deal that we can film some of these episodes because there's 370 people who work directly on the show, and they film it in Baltimore, Maryland, where I guess they hire about 2,000 people and extra stuff or whatever.
They do. That was the number one thing when that initially happened. I was reading The Sun, and it was like, look, man, this is just detrimental to the local economy.
Yeah.
That's what's detrimental, Baltimore. Keep thinking like that. That's why you're in the situation you're in.
More jobs lost is not helping the situation.
I know, but come on, man. My God. That's the problem.
Also, the Hollywood Reporter says writing Spacey's character out of House of Cards isn't a stretch. Basically, in Dobbs' book that inspired the Netflix series, Frank's character had died there, too. So,
oh, he did.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be impossible to kill off his character and the guy's just not there anymore. Plus, I mean, they film so much stuff.
They do.
You know, right. It's like whenever a musician or an artist passes away and there's always like some unreleased stuff. Like, right, if you make music, there's probably, for every song we hear, there's probably another 10,000 right, that we don't hear. I think the same thing for these shows. For everything we see, there's also got to be hours upon hours of footage that we haven't seen yet, and people are still going to be fired up about. Should we give the Star Wars people a little something?
I can.
Yeah, man.
Should we get it set up?
Nah, it's all right. Jimmy Kimmel's talking with Mark Hamill.
Let me see.
You guys.
There, he beat me.
So he's talking with Mark Hamill, which some people know he's famous for Star Wars.
And nothing else. And don't.
He's been in a couple Kevin Smith movies.
I know. That's not what he was in the Kevin Smith movies because he's famous for being in Star Wars. And I know he's a voice actor, but he's not famous for that.
He doesn't need to be.
Right, exactly.
He doesn't need to be famous for anything else.
No, I'm just saying it before all the stupid emails. Like, he was the voice of the Joker. No kidding. But he's famous for being Luke Skywalker.
So no one said, like, he was just Gomer Pyle for crying out loud.
Right. He was Gomer Pyle.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel was talking to some of the Star Wars people, Mark Hamill, and basically Hamill talked about keeping it a secret, and then he does I'd say a spot-on Harrison Ford impression.
It was torturous because for a year and a half, I was really nervous that I'd slip up or talk in my sleep or something. It was a real burden. But I'm really proud because by the time we saw the screening and it happened, everybody, even in the screening that had worked on the film, and the cast was there too, were stunned. Harrison turned around. He was sitting right in front of me. He said, "Hey, kid, you didn't tell me that." I apologize. I only included the F-bomb for historical accuracy.
Well, listen, he's the one who said it.
That's what he said.
Does he like your imitation of him?
I don't think so. I got a phone call from one time. He said, "Hey, I don't sound anything like that."
It's kind of funny because Harrison Ford, like, you always think about the characters he plays, but yeah, when you hear him talk in person, I haven't seen him talk in person, but I'm saying when you hear him in interviews, like, where he's not very, like, prepped, ready to...
You want the audio of him crashing a plane. That's what you need to hear.
Well, even then it'd be calm. Oh, boy.
Plus, isn't he like 70?
Do I pick the par 4 or the par 3? Where do I land this?
Yeah, he's an older guy. But yeah, he notoriously doesn't want to do interviews. Like, just watch the movie.
I know he has a no photo policy.
Well, does he?
Yeah. I have some friends that ran into him, and they were like, "Yeah, he doesn't take photos." And I was like, that doesn't shock me. I was like, "Where were you at?" And it was like a very nice hotel.
He was at a Perfect Circle show.
It was a high-end hotel, like having a cocktail. And I was like, I can imagine that. And then they were like, "Yeah, but then a hot chick came in and he took a photo with her." I was like, well...
Did you not hear what you just said? Right.
Yeah.
He did what you would do.
Yeah. I think we all make some exceptions there.
No cameras. No one brought any.
Have you guys heard about this documentary, The Problem with the Pooh?
Negative.
All right. So basically, it's about the character on The Simpsons, Apu.
Oh, Apu.
The problem with
Apu. Okay, I follow now. My bad. I thought you meant...
I was in a different place as well, man. I'm like, okay.
I was going to say, what was it, bloody or what happened?
Oh, the problem with Pooh?
You said the problem with a poo.
Yeah.
I thought when you're saying a poo, like I took a poo, I thought maybe there was like something in your sample that wasn't cool.
Well, Apu is a character on The Simpsons. Basically, the whole documentary is, they say, it's a racist portrayal.
Well, he runs a mini-mart.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Hank Azaria provides the voice for Apu and other characters on The Simpsons. So basically, if you've asked Hank about it, he's like, yeah, it was a little racist. They asked him about it again. He said, I think the documentary's made some really good points. Here's the line. He hasn't been as prolific, and they're talking about getting rid of the character, and Hank Azaria is kind of like, nobody said it, but The Simpsons might just drop it. And the documentary was made by an Indian-American dude, thus it came up. But I kind of like Hank Azaria, too. He's like, all right, well, I don't know. If it's offensive, we just won't do it anymore.
If it's offensive, it's offensive.
Yeah, and I don't think Hank Azaria, I don't think any of them originally that was the point of it.
No. And just like it's not for Homer to be a drunken, dumb dad who can't make any decisions, but that is the play no matter what type of white, black, you name it. You plug that character into a role. It's like, one of these days the dads are going to revolt, and we're not going to be beer-drinking dumbasses that can't make decisions without our significant others. And I get it. It's different culturally than it is in this way. But look, every character...
Culturally how it's done in the States.
Yeah.
Not every country thinks that the fathers and husbands are idiots.
Right. You can break down any character in any way you want. And
you can make it offensive.
Yeah.
And the thing with this, and I get it. Look, if it's offensive, it is. I don't know. I'm not of Indian descent.
Exactly.
But what I would say, and coming from the East Coast in particular, my experience in any mini mart I went into, 99% of them, that's who I talked to. So to me, it's more like they were trying to do the explanation of, like, this is who you meet when you go to this comic book guy.
Mm-hmm.
I have a ponytail. And look, man, I get it because there's a large percentage of cats that act exactly like that when you go to the con. And instead of being offended, they're like, yeah, that's me.
The 7-Eleven by my house is not owned by a guy named Dave.
Nope.
Is it Doug?
No.
Yeah.
Right. Deep is probably the second syllable of the name, right?
Yeah.
People get mad about it or not, but it's true. I mean,
and then the
Jesus Christ,
the no S category, Netflix. They went ahead and greenlit season 3 of Stranger Things.
You don't say.
Whoa.
People like it. People
wow.
like it.
Big deal there. Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. Headlines on the way with Mike Hawk. Coming up in minutes, you are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. New York stock trader goes to Costa Rica to avoid bears and bulls and gets eaten by a shark. We go to Canada, where owls are now attacking dogs, taking out 4 eyeballs alone in one park. Woman busted a border trying to smuggle 227 pounds of bologna into the States. Bad Fiction Award for Writing Award is something to be said maybe on one of your upcoming dates. And a man goes to Waffle House and hooks himself up. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's Mike Hawk.
All right, our top story. Authorities in Texas stopped a woman attempting to cross the border with 227 pounds of contraband. But it wasn't what you'd think it was. After claiming that she was not carrying an illegal substance with her, she was discovered to be transporting 227 pounds of Mexican bologna into the U.S.
Okay.
What
have you had
Mexican bologna so good?
More pork than beef.
All right.
First
Okay.
of all, have you ever had Mexican bologna?
No.
I will now go and try Mexican bologna the next time that I am in Mexico, because if it is that good, where that was what she thought that she could bring back on a price point basis to make money, or just what people liked, it's got to be that good. So
How much was it?
227 pounds. A bunch of twos like underneath her seats and everything like that.
23 rolls of the meat product hidden under her floorboards.
So it's got to be good.
Does it have to be good, or does she just have to like it a lot?
And why is it illegal to bring it in?
Because you can't bring in meat from other countries based on processing, based on bacteria, based on the... That's why, like, they say, like, you been to a farm? And you're like, no, I'm on vacation. Like, well, you can't come back into the country if you stepped or pet a sheep, like, in some place. They're like, like, it's weird that way. I don't know.
I'm talking Mexican.
I know there's science to it. I just don't know.
Bologna.
So they found it hidden under her floorboard. She was fined $1,000. Border Patrol also took to Twitter with this bit of genius, pulling out their inner David Caruso, saying, quote, "This bologna has a first name.
Oh, no.
It's S-E-I-C-E-D-C.
I bet it's kind of like Taylor ham. If you just grew up on it and you like it, there's nothing that really replaces it.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Do we know that, or is it just happen to be bologna from Mexico?
It looks like, I'm looking at pictures of it now, so I don't know much about it, but it looks like it's just goddamn bologna from Mexico, right?
They're bringing drugs, crime, and bologna.
And bologna.
Yeah.
There's some bad hombres right there.
Bologna.
My bologna has a first name. It's jail.
Moving on around the world.
It's very hard to find anything that separates what's Mexican bologna.
Right.
I mean, to me, it sounds like the car behind her had all the drugs in it.
To me, it sounds like a sex move I'm going to break out.
Go after those bologna.
Yeah, you send her through with 220 pounds of bologna.
What is the Mexican bologna?
Oh, no.
You don't want to know.
We go to Costa Rica.
My wife says I haven't had it. Oh, no, wait. She said I had it yesterday.
Damn it. We go to Costa Rica, where an American tourist met an unthinkable end. The tourist was out diving with a group of 18 people exploring the coast when he was met with she was met with a tiger shark that left her with severe bites to her legs. The wounds, unfortunately, did prove fatal.
Yeah, and her surfing instructor was bit, too.
Yes, out scuba diving.
Wow,
yeah, scuba diving instructor, whatever.
Yeah, they did say that it was an isolated incident and that it really rarely happens, but...
Well, obviously, if it happened all the time, you'd probably close your scuba shop.
Oh, you mean the scuba diving schools outside of Costa Rica and the surfing schools? It's an isolated incident.
That's right.
Okay.
Here we go. Another seemingly obvious headline. In Canada, there has been a recent uptick in the amount of dogs being attacked by unusually aggressive owls. Multiple cases of people witnessing their dogs under attack from the birds have run out, making noise, throwing projectiles at the animals.
My bitch.
That proved futile until they got physically involved. So Canadians are being warned to be on the lookout for predators up above as they let their dogs outside or take them out for some
what is going on with these owls? I mean, are they losing their normal food source and decided, like, your little stupid chihuahua, it's an easy mark, let's eat that bitch?
I have no idea, but the fact that people are running out, waving, they're throwing rocks and snowballs at these owls, and they're just staring at them like, yeah, I'm going to keep eating your dog, that tells me that, yeah, they've got a lower food source.
Mike,
what?
Do you know why owls lick Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pops?
Why?
Because they can.
I didn't get that.
Don't worry. I knew you weren't going to.
He was the only one that knew how many licks it took. Everybody else, for some reason, it was some big mystery.
It's a playoff on the joke. Do you know why dogs lick their own,
testicles?
Because they can, Mike.
And you would too.
Okay,
because they can.
I get you. Then I'd like to thank our own Steve the Thrill Hill for this headline. It says,
"This is for you." I did not.
Oh, is it for me?
Man, I saw this headline and I almost felt like like Google targets you with ads. I'm like, did you send this to me to give to Mike?
So this is from Children's Health, and the headline reads, "Boy born without arms or legs walks for first time in viral video."
We don't get a lot of the quadriplegic stories that show up, and I'm like, Mike, this is for you.
What is the punchline, Mike?
The problem is that his name's Camden. There is no punchline.
He no longer responds to Russell when he's in leaves.
But what would you give a name to for a man with no arms and no legs who can now walk?
A young boy that can now walk?
There's got to be a name for that.
If it was a girl, her name would be Peg, I guess.
You know what? Stan.
Jeez, Peg.
Stan.
God damn.
Oh, you know what? Stan ain't bad. Stan.
It's close. I'm missing a D, but he's got one.
Yeah.
My name's Stan.
That's it for your headlines. With that, I'm out of here.
Thank you, Michael. See you the next time for Ryan Castle, the Drug and Charge, and the Sit and Spin, and the return of the word.
Yes, indeed. It is all true. We be all about this bitch for now, but we shall return tomorrow. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.